Hello, my name is Neil Scott-Barbour, and I am Avery Sykes' grandpa. I'm an Englishman, come from the other side of the Atlantic, and I do a lot of reading, like I'm going to do for you today. I'm what's called a voice actor. That means that I use my voice to say things, to read things, to entertain folks. And I've done that a lot in schools like yours and senior care communities. I have lots of different voices, which you will pick up in just a moment when I go through some of my favorite readings. Today, I'm actually going to give you a little bit of background about somebody you've probably heard of. You may know some of his stories. His name is Shel Silverstein. Shel was born on September the 25th, 1930 in Chicago, Illinois. He was originally called Sheldon Allen Silverstein. He's the best known as the author of a number of books which you may have heard of, poetry for young readers, and prose such as classics like A Light in the Attic, Where the Sidewalk Ends, Ronnies Jig, and The Giving Tree. That's right, The Giving Tree. He's a cartoonist who was, and a playwright, a poet, a performer, and a recording artist. His books, which he illustrated himself, are characterized by a clever mixing of the sly and the serious, sometimes the slightly gruesome and silly. He has a unique imagination and bold humor, beloved by countless adults and children. He never studied poetry, but had a knack for it. He uses informal conversational tone and fun use of strange words and slang, make with him for a unique style that drew children like yourselves and adults like me from all over the world. The very first book that he wrote, Where the Sidewalk Ends, the first poem in that book is the one that I will read first. Where the Sidewalk Ends. There is a place where the sidewalk ends, and before the street begins, and there the grass grows soft and white, and there the sun burns crimson bright, and there the moonbird rests from his flight to cool in the peppermint wind. Let us leave this place where the smoke blows black, and the dark street winds and bends. Past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow, we shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk white arrows go to the place where the sidewalk ends. Yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and we'll go where the chalk white arrows go, for the children they mark and the children they know, the place where the sidewalk ends. Now I want to do my very, very favorite poem by Shel Silverstein, the one that I usually begin entertaining folks with right off the bat. And here we go. It's called I Cannot Go to School Today. And it's about a little girl who used every argument she possibly could not to have to go to school. Here we go.
I cannot go to school today,
said little Peggy Ann McKay.
I have the measles and the mumps, a gash, a rash, and purple bumps. My mouth is wet, my throat is dry. I'm going blind in my right eye. My tonsils are as big as rocks. I've counted 16 chicken pox. Oh, and there's one more. That's 17. And don't you think my face looks green? My leg is cut. My eyes are blue. It might be instamatic flu. I cough and sneeze and gasp and choke. I'm sure that my left leg is broke. My hip hurts when I move my chin. My belly button's caving in. My back is wrenched. My ankle's sprained. My appendix pains each time it rains. My nose is cold. My toes are numb. I have a sliver in my thumb. My neck is stiff. My voice is weak. I hardly whisper when I speak. My tongue is filling up my mouth. I think my hair is falling out. My elbow's bent. My spine ain't straight. My temperature is 108. My brain is shrunk. I cannot hear. There is a hole inside my ear. I have a hangnail and my heart is... What? What's that you say? What do you say? Today is Saturday. I'm going out to play.
That's one of my favourites. And here's another one that's also one I enjoy doing. It's called the Crocodile's Toothache. The crocodile went to the dentist and sat down in the chair. And the dentist said, "Now tell me, sir, why does it hurt and where?" And the crocodile said, "I'll tell you the truth. I have a terrible ache in my tooth." And he opened his jaws so wide, that the dentist he climbed right inside. And the dentist laughed, "Oh, isn't this fun?" as he pulled the teeth out one by one. And the crocodile cried,
"Oh, you're hurting me so. Please put down your pliers and let me go."
But the dentist just laughed with a ho, 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 and he said, "I still have 12 to go. Oops, that's the wrong one, I confess. But what's one crocodile's tooth, more or less?" Then suddenly the jaws went snap, and the dentist was gone, right off the map. And where he went, one could only guess, to north or south or east or west. He left no forwarding address. But what's one dentist more or less? I'll do a few shorter ones from his various books now. This first one is from A Light in the Attic, one of his books. It's called Homework Machine. Might be something that you'd like to have as students, huh? The homework machine, oh, the homework machine, most perfect contraption that's ever been seen. Just put in your homework, then drop in a dime, snap on the switch, and in 10 seconds' time, your homework comes out quick and clean as can be. Here it is, 9 plus 4, and the answer is 3. 3? Oh me, I guess it's not as perfect as I thought it would be. Next one is something called Falling Up, and it's from a book called Falling Up.
I tripped on my shoelace and I fell up to the rooftops, up over the town, up past the treetops, up over the mountains, up where the colours blend into the sounds. Oh, God, it got me so dizzy when I looked around. I got sick to my stomach and I threw down.
Next one's a fun one. It's about a pancake. In fact, I'll try to show you the picture of that. It's a pancake that's kind of ginormous, all the way up to the top. So here's that story.
Who wants a pancake, sweet and piping hot? Good little Grace looks up and says, I'll take the one on the top.
Who else wants a pancake, fresh off the griddle?
Terrible Teresa smiles and says, I'll take the one in the middle.
This one's called Frozen Dream. I'll take the dream I had last night and put it in my freezer. So someday long and far away, when I'm an old grey geezer, maybe I am now, I'll take it out and thaw it out, this lovely dream I've frozen, and boil it up and sit me down and dip my old cold toes in. This one is called Superstar, and I want you to see this picture because, it's you know what kind of game he plays with that ball and so forth. Okay, so here's what he says, Superstar. I'm the greatest, newest superstar, and soon you'll cheer my name. I'm smart and slick and strong and quick, an expert at the game. But before we start, one question, please. I hesitate to ask it, but where's the basket? You got it? He thought he was a football player, but he wanted to play basketball. all mixed up. That's what he was, all mixed up. Next one, also from the book Falling Up, called Snowball.
I made myself a snowball as perfect as could be. I thought I'd keep it as a pet and let it sleep with me. I made it some pyjamas and a pillow for its head. Then last night it ran away, but first it wet the bed.
Now you all know that there's a flag of the United States and it has lots of stars on it, and each of those stars represents a state of the Union. You probably know all the states in the Union. One star is for Alaska. One star is for Nebraska. One star is North Dakota. One star is Minnesota. There are lots of other stars, but I forget which ones they are. You probably know them all, so you could repeat them all, I'm sure. Here's a little one from A Light in the Attic called Put Something In. Draw a crazy picture, write a nutty poem, sing a mumble-gumble song, whistle through your comb. Do a loony-goony dance, cross the kitchen floor, put something silly in the world that ain't been there before. Of course, you should say hasn't been there before, not ain't. Here's another one called 18 Flavors. 18 luscious, scrumptious flavors, chocolate, lime and cherry, coffee, pumpkin, fudge banana, caramel, cream and boysenberry, rocky road and toasted almond, butterscotch, vanilla dip, butter brickle, apple, ripple, coconut and mocha chip, brandy peach and lemon custard, each scoop lovely smooth and round. It's the tallest ice cream cone in town, lying there on the ground. All right, the next one I want to do for you is called The Voice. The Voice. And this is sort of a teaching moment in a way for you. Think about this. There is a voice inside of you that whispers all day long. I feel that this is right for me. I know that this is wrong. No teacher, preacher, parent, friend, or wise man can decide what's right for you. Just listen to the voice that speaks inside. But, and he didn't say this, do listen to your teacher and do listen to your mom and dad. All right, here's a very silly one, but it's one of my favorites. You might even have heard of this one. It's called Backward Bill. Backward Bill, he lives way up on Backward Hill, which is really a hole in the sandy ground, but that's a hill turned upside down. Backward Bill's got a backward shack with a big front porch that's built out back. You walk through the window and look out the door, and the cellar is up on the very top floor. Backward Bill, he rides like the wind, don't know where he's going, but sees where he's been. His spurs, they go neigh, and his horse, it goes clang, and his 6-gun goes gnab. It never goes bang. Backward Bill's got a backward pup. They eat their supper when the sun comes up, and he's got a wife named Backward Lil. Oh, she's my own true hate, says Backward Bill. Backward Bill wears his hat on his toes and puts on his underwear over his clothes. And come every payday, he pays his boss and rides off a-smilin', a-carryin' his hoss. This might be one that you kids would love to do. It's one of my favorite. Well, of course, I got a lot of favorites. It's called Noise Day. Noise Day.
Let's have one day for girls and boyses when you can make the grandest noises. Screech, scream, holler and yell, buzz a buzzer, clang a bell, sneeze, hiccup, whistle, shout, laugh until your lungs wear out, toot a whistle,
Kick a can, bang a spoon against a pan. Sing, yodel, bellow, hum, blow a horn, beat a drum. Rattle a window, slam a door, scrape a rake across the floor. Use a drill, drive a nail, turn the hose on the garbage pail. Shout, yahoo, hurrah, hooray, turn up the music all the way. Try and bounce your bowling ball, ride a skateboard up the wall. Chomp your food with a smack and a slurp, chew, chomp, hiccup, burp. One day a year, do all of these. The rest of the days, be quiet, please. What I want to do now is turn to something where you're going to have to think about the answers to this, and you're going to try to understand what it is that is being said here. You'll get into the hang of it, and I'll give you time to share it with your teacher in between some of these. So the principle, listen very carefully. The name of this piece by Shel Silverstein is Ronnie Babbitt, a Billy Sook. Think about that. Where do you think the R and the B and the B and the S are? So it would have originally been, because you switched the letters, Bunny Rabbit, a Silly Book by Shel Silverstein. Here are a few of his, and you can kind of figure these out, and I'll stop from now to time to time, and you can see if you can get it. So the first start is Ronnies Rig Bowmance. You get it? I think you're getting it, aren't you? Bunny's Big Romance. R and the B were switched. So see if you can get a few of these as we go through. So Ronnie had a furl greened. Her name was Sunny Boo. He called her knots of lick names like Kitchy, Itchy, Coo. So I'm going to help you this one time, but you can get the rest of them later. So Bunny had a girlfriend. Her name was Bunny Sue. He called her tons of nicknames like Kitchy, Itchy, Coo. Now I'm going to continue with these, and you're going to I'll just stop from time to time, and you can think, okay, what I think it is this, and you talk to your teacher about it. Sometimes he called her Bunny Hun, and sometimes Dovey Lear, and he only called her Petey Sweet when no one else could hear. Did you get a few of those? Boney Hun, Honey Bun, Dovey Lear. Did you get that one? Dear Lovey. Yeah, I know. All right, here's a couple more, and I won't stop too much with these. Just laugh and figure them out real quick, and I'm sure you can now that you understand that the letters get switched. Ronnies Jig Bump. Runny be Quimble, Runny be Nick, Runny cump over the jandle stick. But now what smells like ferning bluff, guess he didn't hump jig enough. Jai enough, which means high.